racing in the elimination race at Kansas. KBM trucks lined up on the bottom.
They were doing some serious pushing into one, and John Hunter was able to take advantage of that big push at Grant Fleet. See him run over to the left field, trying to help out his teammates, having that draft with him there, but he has to widen the entry to get into 3.
As you mentioned, the speed's upwards of 180 miles an hour. The draft really comes into play at this racetrack.
And Phil, drafting is great on the straightaways, but in the corners, it's a bear. They're really going to get loose in the corners when they're running 3 and 4 wide. Watch for the guy on the bottom to get sideways. It's going to be entertaining.
Those 4 ThorSport trucks running up near the front as well, with Majeski, Ben Rhodes in the bright orange truck, and Matt Crafton in the bright yellow. Majeski and Eckes up there.
Strong corner for Majeski was turns 1 and 2. I think he surprised John Hunter. Made a big move. John Hunter moved up the hill to take that spot back.
See the pylon on the left-hand side of the screen. Those in green will be Chandler Smith and Grant Enfinger. They have secured a position into round 2. They're already advancing. We know that. Those highlighted in yellow are the rest of the playoff drivers, hoping to either clinch or survive tonight.
See that momentum from the outside when Majeski, that's part of that track description you were talking about, Michael. This variable banking up to 20 degrees at the top. You see John Hunter Nemechek all the way at the top of the racetrack. Majeski trying to follow.
Already, we knew they would migrate up to the top. There's just a little bit more grip up there. The pavement's a little fresher, a little bit more banking. But I didn't know they'd go there on lap 1 or 2, and it's really interesting to see that. These guys here battling for second have elected to remain at the bottom. John Hunter went up to block in turn 1 on the second lap.
I liked it. I liked it.
I like what I felt. I'm going to hang with it.
It'll be interesting to see how John Hunter's truck holds through this first stage. They were real happy with their short run speed last time here in May, but not happy with the long run speed, and that was the area they felt like they needed to make an improvement if they were going to contend for the win tonight. We'll see how that plays out as you watch Hocevar in the 42, Enfinger in the 23.
Nice pass by Hocevar. He used the bottom of the racetrack, basically drove up in front of Grant Enfinger. He lost a position at the start. He got that back. Now he's up to 14th. He's 1 position higher than where he started.
Yeah, when I saw that move, Phil, that's strong. Yeah, that's
Speedway. Elimination race in the playoffs, the 3rd of 3 here in round 1. John Hunter Nemechek leading with 3 to go here in stage 1. Ty Majeski runs second, and the big story really here in this first stage, the position of Christian Eckes, who sits 3rd, compared to Matt Crafton, who is 9th, and Carson Hocevar, who is 16th. Those 3 battling for that final playoff spot to advance, and you're right on board with Eckes. He's in position to really gain some significant ground here in stage 1.
Stage racing is what it's all about. You got to count every point. We know the playoffs are about winning, but it's also about advancing. And you know, you get through this round, we re-rack it, and it gives you a chance to gain on the guys you're racing against and have a fresh shot in the next round. And what about that next round? Are you kidding me? Bristol,
what a great lineup.
Bristol, Talladega, Homestead, Miami.
Yeah.
It's just a great set of racetracks for us to go battling on.
Couldn't be any different, really.
Well, one of the reasons Eckes found himself in the position of 10th out of 10 playoff drivers coming into this race was the fact that he'd only scored 3 stage points in the first 2 playoff races. So he is in position to better that in one fell swoop here of stage 1. Final lap of this stage here at Kansas. Eckes running 3rd.
If he can stay there, he will get 8 stage points, and that will be huge.
Matt Crafton's hanging on to that 9th position, giving him a couple.
Meanwhile, John Hunter Nemechek takes the green and white checkers for his 5th stage win of the season. In the white 4 leading the way. Eckes on the outside in the 98. Majeski giving a big shove to Nemechek.
We saw Eckes spin the tires. That's why he lost that ground to the front 2.
3 wide back there in the pack. There's that 17 truck of Ryan Preece already up inside the top 5. Keep your eye on him.
Interesting to see the adjustments that were made and how they impact these trucks and the handling. A lot of drivers talking about how loose they were during that first stage. The setting sun, the cooling of the track temperature, adjustments made on pit road.
Nice move there by Eckes. You saw that truck bottoming out in the corners. That's that low air pressure, and it just side skirts are scraping the ground. That's a good feeling for a driver, especially when you're moving through the field like he just did. Made a big move on Majeski, who was one of the fastest.
Highlighted in yellow that are going to get those stage points, and Friesen is not. The points are so important to grab those stage points when you can. Majeski in the 66. Oh, the 44 with trouble. That's Bailey Curry. And the caution has come out.
That's going to save Friesen.
If I'm Friesen, I pit here too.
Absolutely.
Come work on that.
We know we're not going to get any stage points. Let's come in.
Bailey Curry was running just inside the top 20.
Doing a nice job in that 44 Nice truck, Bailey Curry was, and probably just a little bit loose underneath another truck maybe.
He had a really good run here a couple of years ago. This is his first start in the truck this season. Runs full time in the Xfinity Series, but had a really good run here a couple of years ago for Nice. Started at the rear, ran it up inside the top 10.
Sorry, he said. Well, don't be that sorry. You didn't crash. Look at this. That's a strange place to get in that.
Nemechek's teammate behind him.
Ooh, almost contact with the blue and white truck at Benfica. Oh, a spin.
Caden Honeycutt in the 30.
Oh, nice job keeping that thing out of the inside wall.
Caution is out.
He let off the brakes at the perfect time and drove.
Making major changes to that 18 truck, and Ty Majeski back there in the 66 as well.
Nice move by Chandler on the outside there.
7th, 8th, and 9th.
That's probably as far back as Majeski has been this entire race. Caution is out again.
4th time, and it's for the 22 of Moffitt.
Oh,
engine issue.
Moffitt was back there 20th. And Moffitt's bringing it to a stop and going to climb out of there.
Probably going to end his night, but good news for Brett. He's got a great car for tomorrow for the Xfinity race.
Qualified 16th, I think.
Yeah, somewhere up. I knew he was up in the top 20, so I know he's looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's just good to have Brett back. I mean, he's such a great young racer. And
Ankrum a lap down, will pass Hocevar, get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he doesn't need to fight him off. Don't worry about racing, Ankrum.
It doesn't affect your race. The strategy call by Phil Gould has his driver in position, but Nemechek now within a second and a half and getting closer.
As Nemechek cleared all that traffic fence, we'll get a good look at it right here. Oh, he still has a couple trucks. Matt Crafton's one of those trucks.
Vince, you asked me if it was nerve-wracking. It is for me. I'm a nervous wreck for Carson trying to hold on to that truck and win this race.
Nemechek in that white number 4. He's got Matt Crafton in front of him. Can Nemechek get around Crafton and make a run at the 42? Boy, the gap is just about a second now.
Coming to 2 to go, Vince.
This is good stuff. Drama in Kansas. One more lap, Carson Hocevar says. No caution for 1 lap.
Less than a second difference between the two now.
But he's got Matt Crafton between he and the leader. Matt dives to the bottom.
Exactly what Nemechek wants to see. He doesn't want Crafton to get in the way. The final 2 laps.
Oh.
Nemechek much faster, going to get around Crafton, and there is Hocevar right there. Nemechek maybe had to check up just a little bit because Blaine Perkins was on the bottom. Nemechek grazes the wall. The final lap. The white flag, and now Nemechek to the bottom for the lead. Gets it from Carson Hocevar. Oh, what a fight Hocevar has put up, but it's not going to be enough. Out of gas. Hocevar out of gas.
He can coast to the line, but how many spots will he lose? Maybe not any.
No, I don't think so, Phil. If he can coast to the line, I think he holds on to second.